How do you plan to reduce the influence of special interest groups in the state legislature? And I'm going to go ahead and combine this with the next question. What are your thoughts on taxpayer law?
Okay, we combine the time? Good deal. Yeah, so the plan to reduce the influence of special interest groups and lobbyists in state legislation. Once again, this is a powder keg right here. One of the first things that I discovered as your representative over at the Capitol was how often the tail was wagging the dog. I literally had multiple different lobbyists telling me, I'm going to run a bill. I'm going to run a bill. That's my bill. And I'm going, wait a minute, lawmakers are the only ones that can run a bill. This isn't your bill. But what I found so often is, and I don't know what the percentage is, but it's much more than I'm comfortable with. The percentage of legislation that is presented and run by lobbyists and special interest groups versus legislation that is presented by citizens. That has been very frustrating for me because eventually you begin to see the tail wagging the dog. We had over 3,000 bills that were submitted last year that we had to work through in 16 months. The governor ended up signing just over 400 of them. Again, I don't know the exact percentage of what was presented by citizens and what was by a special interest group, but that has become one of the questions I often hear from lobbyists on the floor when they are questioning another, or from legislators on the floor when they are asking another legislator, where did this bill come from? Did it come from a constituent, or did it come from a lobbyist or a special interest group? And most of the time, again, I don't know what the percentage is, but many, many times these bills are coming from outside of our citizens, and I would say outside of our state. So as far as influencing that, again, this is a huge monster to go and attack because of the money and the power and the influence that is involved here. But the idea is, how can we lower the number of bills? How can we lower it? In the House, we are limited by our own rules. We are limited to only being able to submit 8 bills. The Senate is unlimited. Multiple senators were submitting 30, 50, and even over 100 bills. I don't have any idea how they were able to manage that amount of legislation when I'm struggling to keep track of 6. And then your second question, thoughts on taxpayer-funded lobbying? Bad idea. Real bad idea. Do you guys know Epic Charter Schools? Okay, Epic Charter Schools, they are completely funded by our tax dollars. Their founders are now facing a major criminal trial on how they were utilizing those taxpayer dollars. They were 100% supported by taxes. The problem is the taxpayer monies should go to benefit citizens, not to pay for lobbyists. The charter school leaders had lobbyists. And so the lobbyists are getting paid by taxpayer dollars, and they are lobbying legislators for more taxpayer dollars. And so that's a bad cycle to get into. I'm definitely against it.